Beautiful. Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for coming today to celebrate July 2016 graduation. A little bit more admin, and I know you heard it twice already, but I'm going to repeat it this third time. Drinks in the kitchen, toilet the lift, and fire exits are opposite lift. Yay! Pizza is coming after the presentations. So there is this. You should stick around until the end, definitely. So my name is Arina. I'm a coach at Makers Academy. There is more staff from Makers Academy present. Please give a wave. If you have any questions and if you want to ask us anything about the course and about what we do here, please approach any of us after the presentations and we will be happy to explain anything. So today, July 2016, this beautiful cohort is graduating. They came in 12 weeks ago, knowing very little about coding and about the development world. And I was constantly amazed on how fast they learned and how hard they worked. All of them are smart, talented, and really hardworking individuals. And I'm very glad that I had an honor to work with them for the past 3 months. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our first team. And our first team decided to build something for the competitive ones amongst us. So please welcome team Challenge Accepted.
Okay, so hello folks, my name is Wylan. This is Jason, Zach, and Tarek. And our project is Challenge Accepted. Challenge Accepted is a social challenge app for mobile that essentially adds an element of social accountability to the innocuous bet. So let's say that Jason has come to the end of a long week of coding and is looking for a bit of a self-esteem boost. And so he decides to challenge Terry to a ping pong match, the loser of which buys the winner a drink. And so Jason, as a user Challenge Accepted, can log into his account, where he can create a new challenge, specifying the title, the description, the ante, as well as the challengee, who in this case is Joe. And then these challenges will be accessible from the user's challenge timelines for them to engage with via either comments or setting a vector. So I'm going to pass on to Jason now, who's going to run through some of the technical aspects of the project.
Hi everyone. So first of all, I want to talk about why we decided to choose this project. So throughout Makers, we've mainly been doing web development, and Challenge Accepted gave us a unique opportunity to learn something different. So we decided to do this through mobile app development. So with that in mind, let's talk about the technologies that we've used. So in order to create the actual mobile app, we use something called React Native. Our backend is a very basic Rails server, and to test, we use Xcode and their integrated testing environment. So the next thing is, so why React Native? So React Native, in short, is what's known as a framework developed by Facebook. And in essence, what that means is that it allows us to create mobile applications in Android or iOS using only JavaScript. And this is pretty cool because for those of you who don't know, mobile applications can be quite tricky if you want to develop for them. If you want to develop, for instance, an Android application, you'd have to learn what's a programming language called Java. And if you want to make an iOS application, you'd have to learn a different programming language called Swift. React Native does away with all this. It lets you program and create mobile applications for iOS and Android using only JavaScript, so it's pretty cool. Our backend, as mentioned, is a very simple Rails server. What we like about this and what we're quite proud of is that our Rails server is completely decoupled from our front end. And what this basically means is that we're able to create mobile applications in iOS, Android, or on the web and not have to worry at all about our backend. So that's a quick technical overview of our project. I'm going to pass over to Zach now to talk about our successes and our challenges.
So we had plenty of ups and downs during this last 2 weeks. On the upside, transferring our skills to a new platform went really well. We managed to, having only previously worked with web development for the last previous 10 weeks before we started this, we had to now work on a mobile platform, which was vastly different. We all learned React Native for the first time over these last 2 weeks, and we managed to achieve our MVP, which we set out to accomplish at the start of the 2 weeks. On the downside, we had to deal with React Native's learning curve, which was vastly different to anything we've encountered before, and some of the syntax involved wasn't really immediately obvious. And we had to deal with conflicts in our program causing build failures. This meant Xcode had to compile our code to get onto a physical device. It also had to compile it to run integration tests, which meant when it wasn't compiling, we couldn't run any tests, so we had to figure out what was wrong with it before we could run tests. And using our third-party authentication tools within our system structure, basically we had to figure out how the blocks fit together, and we had to maybe think of some clever workarounds to make our I'll now pass on to Terry to what it says.
So this is our app in its most simplest form, but given some more time, we would like to have added some additional features such as a challenge history view and a reputation points-based system. So overall, the last couple of weeks have been very challenging, but at the same time, it's a great learning experience. And from a technical perspective, we're very happy with the way our app has turned out. And so we'd just like to give a big thank you to whole Cohort and Arena for all their help and support. Thank you.
One little thing that we didn't do is we didn't start a hangout for all of us who join in remotely. So let's do it right now. It's going to bring continuous, concurrent, instantaneous fun for all of your friends and family. So please welcome to Quiz Buzz.
Hello, we are Team Quizbuzz. I'm Sophie, this is Becca, Jack, and Aga. For the last 2 weeks, we've been building a multiplayer general knowledge quiz game called Quizbuzz. Right, so let's kick off. We'll start off by showing you what we've built. I've got a quick demo here. Hopefully YouTube is behaving. Right, so when you log in, you can opt to play a game. We've got 3 different types of game. We're going to play single player to start off with. You get 10 multiple choice questions. Each question has 4 possible answers, and you have 10 seconds to answer each question, and your number of available points decreases every second. So let's play complete their game, and at the end, they get their marks out of 100. And they're going to play again, this time with 3 other players who are also logged in. Once everyone's ready to go, they all receive the same question, and once every player has answered the question, they all receive the next question at exactly the same time. You can choose to chat with your fellow players during the game, and you might notice that none of the other players are answering this question, but at the end, they all refresh and receive the next question anyway. So we'll let them finish up this game. You might get some hints when you're playing this later, if you pay attention to the questions. Got a good one coming up. This is a bit sciencey. It's a good mix of hard and easy questions. This one, the answer is blue, the Himalayan poppy. It's blue. Remember that for later. Okay, the player in the top right won that game with a massive score of 22. It's going to be hard to beat. Now our top 2 players are going to play a 2-player game, which has the same functionality as a multiplayer game. But one of our players is a bit bored. They've had enough. They're going to check out the leaderboard. The remaining player gets notified that their opponent has left. And our leaderboard has the top scores currently on Quizbuzz. And to build this app, we divided, this did this to me earlier, I'm really sorry. Apologies, technical problems. We divided really clearly into front and back end design. Myself and Aga developed the front end, and Jack and Becca took on the back end. I'm going to hand over to Aga, who will tell you how we approach the front end build.
Hi everyone. To build our front end, which is what users interact with and see, we wanted to use something new that we haven't used before, and something that was reactive and highly efficient. So we choose to use React. As the name suggests, reactive, React. It's highly efficient. So as you see in the game, we have a timer, and each second the timer refreshes. But the questions and the options stay the same. So the whole page doesn't refresh. It's only the timer, and only the questions and the options refresh only when either the player chooses to click an answer or the time is up. And so that's React. I'll hand over to Jack to talk about our backend.
Okay, so we built the backend in Elixir, which is a language that is completely different to anything that we've encountered in the course before. It's also quite a new language. It's about 4 years old, so it was really exciting to get to work with it as well. It's based on another language called Erlang, which is about 30 years old, and it's been tried and tested. There's a little company called WhatsApp, you might have heard about it. They use Erlang on their servers to handle about 2 million connections on each of their servers at any given time. So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. Elixir is also highly concurrent, which means it supports more than one thing happening at the same time, so it fits the bill for a multiplayer game perfectly. In order to build the backend, we use Phoenix, which is a framework quite similar to Rails. It allowed us to be super productive super quickly in order to get our minimally viable product up and running as soon as possible. Phoenix also had sockets out of the box, which meant that it was really easy to build the technology that allowed us to connect more than one player to the same game at the same time. I'll now pass on to Becca to talk about our trials and tribulations.
Hi. So obviously our biggest challenge were all the new technology to use. So it was 3 in total, being React, Elixir, and Phoenix. The combination of our stack meant that the testing was a bit more challenging than what we've been used to using Ruby on Rails and using JavaScript. Also, the decoupling of our front and back end, our teams were totally separate, which meant that our communication had to be really good in order for our app to work. However, as a team, we all agreed that this was also one of our strongest points. Our at the end, we could just tell another team, build this, we've merged them together, and it would just work. It's a really satisfying moment. We also learned so much. We went from 0 to, let's say, pretty awesome for now, in completely new technologies. Plus, our MVP, we set our MVP quite low at first, being a single player app with no timer. We got onto our 3rd version, including, I think, nearly all the features that we had wanted to include. We're really proud of it. And I'm sure all of you are asking, where can I play Quiz Buzz? It looks so awesome. We have launched it online. It's also written up on the whiteboard. I know you're all desperate to know. Wait until after all the other presentations first, maybe. But thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Please, people on the outside, come on in, don't be shy, there are plenty of free seats, so you can hear better, you can see better. Come in, come in. Just to give you a tiny little bit of context, both Challenge Accepted and Quiz Buzz and all the other teams, they tackled something that wasn't covered on the course at all, so they learned a completely different paradigm, sometimes completely different language, all on their own in 2 weeks and managed to build these awesome products. So to the next team enjoyed learning to code so much, they decided to bring the joy of programming to the little ones. So please welcome Road to Code.
How do I make it full screen? Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much.
Hi everyone, my name's Luke, this is Dan, this is Mike, and this is Suze, and this is our project, Road to Code. Road to Code, as Irina said, is a JavaScript game to introduce children to some of the fundamentals of programming that we've been learning over the last few months. It's about objects which have behavior you can set, and also elements of states about the world in which the character moves that you can control. So if you don't like the background of the map, you can change that, and if you don't like the world that's been generated, you can generate your own one. It's a game we've had an enormous amount of fun developing. We hope that you will all try it out later and enjoy playing it, and I will pass you over to Suze, who will talk you through exactly how the game works.
Hi everybody. So we have a choice of 4 characters. You can choose your character, and then you can enter a command to shuffle the emojis, and they change their face on the map. You have another command to change the color of the background tiles. You choose any color that you like. And in order to play the game, you have to enter instructions in order. You have to tell the character which direction to move and how many tiles to move. So we've got move left, move right, move up and down, and they correspond to actual functions in our code, which get called when you click run. So the idea of the game is to move through the map, collect as many emojis as possible, and get to the finish within 10 seconds. And the emojis are worth different values, which give you different points. Okay, and if you get through within 10 seconds, you can submit your name and save your score to the database, and then your score and name appears on the board. And then you can play again. Okay, I'm going to pass you over to Mike, who's going to talk about technology.
Hi. So we have a JavaScript frontend, a Sinatra server, and a Postgres database. What our Sinatra server allows us to do is for our frontend to talk to our backend and to retrieve scores to display on the leaderboard when requested and submit scores once a game's been played. What's interesting about our frontend is that it's written in pure JavaScript. We didn't use any frameworks or game engines which can allow for shortcuts and generally make life easier. We decided to go alone, and one of the benefits of that is that we know our code base inside out. Having written every line of code that you'll see today means that we can test every line of code, and that's something we're really proud of. And I'm going to pass you over to Dan, who's going to talk us through our successes and challenges.
Hi. Okay, so the brief we were given was to create a product that helped kids learn to code. One of the challenges we faced with having such a broad scope was deciding on a concept that met the product brief, challenged us, but was also achievable given our experience and the time frame. Animating the characters' movement across the screen also proved to be challenging. Whilst we figured out the animation without too much difficulty, we found that the code was running ahead and executing commands such as removing the emojis from the map, or in the game before the character's movement animation had finished. The way we solved this was through the use of callbacks. Callbacks effectively allow us to delay the subsequent commands being called until the current command had finished. This issue also raised its head during testing. We found that our tests were expecting conditions that hadn't yet been met because the animation sequence was still running, so our tests were failing. Having said that, we feel that one of our successes was actually our testing, TDD or test-driven development. This is a principle we've had drilled into us from day one here at Makers. And going into this project, we all agreed that we wanted to reinforce this idea in how we go about writing our code. So we tempted to just run ahead and add new cool features without rigorous testing. But we have over 70 tests in place, ensuring that all the features that we've just demonstrated have been thoroughly tested. Teamwork, I think overall our greatest success was teamwork. It's not easy when you put 4 people together for 2 weeks on such an open-ended project, but we really gelled as a team and worked well together, and we learned an enormous amount building this product. Anyway, we hope you'll give it a try and enjoy it, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you all to note that piece of code that you saw on the screen was a pure work of art by Grace. The next team decided to dive into iOS development to bring some native experience into sharing your most precious moments. So please welcome Team Flare.
Hello everyone, my name is Marley. This is Georgia, Tommy, Tim and Jess, and we are Team So, what is Flare? Flare is a social app which allows users to share spontaneous moments based on where they are. So picture this scenario, you are having an awesome time, say at a happening event, be it a local gig or maybe your friend's house party, and you want to capture this moment. Our app allows you to capture it, send it up as a flare, and share it to the rest of the world. Other users can then see this flare on a map and choose to join you if they want to join in the fun.
Cool, so we thought the best way to demo the app would be to give you a quick run through in the form of a video. So this is your login screen. We chose to use Facebook login for the sort of social benefits of that. I've already authorized the app, so I click OK. This is the map view. If we zoom out, you can see that over London, people have been flaring madly recently. Up in the top left corner, this is your profile, which pulls in your username, profile photo, and your rest of your friends who use Flare, and also your most recent active Flare. Back to the map, we're now going to send a flare. So we take the bottom photo, which is a send flare button. This we took earlier, that's our whole cohort. We have a little peek and pop to the map down there to just double check your location. And we also have a rotate video. That's my stupid face. Anyway, now we're going to take our flare. So everybody who was on our cohort, we take the flare, click the button, and now we can type in a title for the flare, which is limited to 35 characters. And you can also choose public or just to send to your friends. So that one we're just going to send to friends. Send some emojis, sorry, that's definitely crucial. Click it to friends. And then the best bit, you click the flare and send it up into the sky. And now your flare is up in the cloud. I'm now going to switch it to friends, zoom in. You can click on the flare that you sent, or this is probably other people using the app. Click through, takes you to flare detail. You can see the time remaining is 30 minutes because they're time limited. You can see the full screen photo, and we've even added a Citymapper API plugin. And then you can even get an Uber if you haven't got to get an Uber to the exact location where we just sent it, which makes no sense. And there we go. And now over to Georgia for camera.
So the camera was quite a big thing for us because when we started on our journey, we decided to go with the Apple camera that's built in. And that was really easy, but it didn't really give us the flexibility that we needed. We wanted a whole screen of camera so you could see all of your face. And so to do this, we had to take the road less traveled and build one completely from scratch. And we found that in doing that, we then had to implement all the functionalities that people expect, like the flash button and the swivel for a selfie and lots of other things. And that was actually really, really difficult. As well, we decided to put on the camera, when you click to take a photo and you flare away, there was a lot of physics and Tommy's brainchild and madness behind it to make it work very, very well. So yes, and now Tim.
Cool. So in case you're wondering about how all the flares sort of magically appear on the map, I'm just going to talk quickly about some of the technical features behind how we actually rendered them there. So it's sort of three main things that are required. The first thing that happens on the app is that it puts a request out to Facebook, and it looks at who the current user is that is logged into the app and asks Facebook to return to the app all of that user's friends. Once you've got those friends, we put a query up to Firebase. Firebase is a Google-owned database that sits up in the cloud. And we ask Firebase to return us only the flares that are in there that have been sent in the last half an hour. And then we filter those flares based on the Facebook friends that Facebook have given us. Once we've got all that data back into the app, we then run a function to plot each of those flares on the map based on the coordinates that are stored in the database. But one of the big challenges about running this kind of function is that Swift is an asynchronous language, which means code, if it takes a long time to run, it won't necessarily run in the order that you want it to. And so we use what's called a nested callback to ensure that the Facebook request goes out first, then the Firebase request goes out second, and then finally we're able to plot the flares on the map. I'm just going to pass over to Jess to talk about learnings and struggles.
So overall, we're really happy with what we've been able to build in 2 weeks. But obviously, there were some learnings and struggles along the way. So first of all, we decided to take on a new language, Swift, which is Apple's programming language. With that came a new IDE called Xcode, which is basically when you write a code, you can see what it looks like on the screen. It's very different to what we've been using throughout the course. So Swift and also Firebase, which is what we're using for our databases, they're both really young, they're both only 2 years old, so the documentation is not amazing, and also because they're constantly evolving, the documentation gets outdated quite quickly. So it was kind of a struggle to find the exact, to find the information that we needed. The third thing we struggled with was testing, because our app is really reliant on Facebook, which is really hard to test. But luckily, we found out that you can make little test users on Facebook, so we made a test user called Dave. And, and he runs all our tests for us now, so we have lots of lovely working tests. Over to Marley.
So for the future of our app, apart from, as you can see here, taking over the UK and the most of Europe, it's video, as it is only photos at the moment, so we would like some videos. A boost flare functionality, which would be almost like a like, and it would extend the duration of your flare. Sponsored flares for businesses can maybe like send up a flare, so like something happening in a pub or something like that. Everyone likes some money. And notifications.
Cool. No, so because we have an app that has a sort of photographic functionality, we've been messing around for the last 2 weeks, and on our database, this is just a small collection. Oh. Sorry, so those were some silly photos. But now we're going to do something which we definitely shouldn't do, and all the tutors told us not to do, which is to try and do a live demo, a world first premiere of a flare sending. So on the right-hand side, we have Georgia, who is going to take the flare. So if everyone on the count of 3 says flare, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now Georgia types in this is the one we had earlier, limiting, and when she's ready, sends the flare into the sky, which goes up to our Firebase service. Firebase service is great because it's real time. So as soon as it detects a change in the database, it already replots it to the client, or all the clients, one of whom is Georgia, the other one of whom